Hello, this is Mav. Welcome to REZOcast. Today we're going to be talking about all kinds of things regarding the video game that we all love.
Hey everyone, this is Lego. Welcome to REZOcast episode 7. I'm here with Hove, Triton, and Mav, and we're super excited about this week. This week in Destiny was crazy, this Trials. I'm really excited to get into how different things were, but I had a really particularly exciting weekend because I had some friends come over. We did it old school style and plugged up all our PS4s on the same network. Took a friend who hadn't played Destiny an entire year almost to the Lighthouse, 8-1. It was ridiculous. He was still 325 light. It was insane. Hove, how was your week this week?
Wait, you mean it was possible to go 8-1 in Trials? Because from what everyone else was saying, it was terrible when everyone lost and it was the worst. But anyway, I enjoyed it. Last week was good. Festival of Lost, Trials, doing something new. Looking forward to the rest of the festival and see what's coming up after that. What do you think, Triton?
Yeah, I have to agree with you guys. I did have a lot of fun in Trials. Hove, obviously, we had a card together, made it pretty far. We got to see each other again in real life, which might have been the highlight of my week, obviously. But I had a lot of fun in Destiny as well. Got all my characters into the mid-380s and got the raid done on 2 characters. So it's been a great week. And how about you, Mav?
I don't Trials.
Do you play Destiny?
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I actually don't really Trials that often, but this weekend I did because of the Festival of the Lost emblem that you can get from it. So yeah. I busted my ass and actually thoroughly enjoyed the fact that there was no radar and there was no revives, and I actually was pretty successful. I didn't go flawless at all, but I made it, I think, 6-0, and for me that's amazing considering I'm not a PvP god by any means. So yeah, it was good.
That's awesome, man. I'm really excited to hear that. I'm really excited to hear all of y'all's different opinions. But first, before we jump into Trials and Festival of the Lost completely, I really want to jump into what you just said, Mav, about how, PvP may not necessarily be your thing, but you do stream for Resolute. And you do, you're a big part of the community, and I want to see what part of Destiny do you feel like you really fit in and is really your jam?
My biggest thing is I enjoy helping people. That's what I do. I'll go into whatever anyone needs to do and take care of it, which is part of the reason why throughout the Taken King I ended up not even leveling my Warlock, because I just kept pushing through raids and helping people. So that's what I do now. Archon's Forge, or I just finished a REZO stream an hour ago trying to help my brother-in-law and his buddy get through the stream. Through the raid, sorry, they'd never done it before. So that's where I fit in. Again, low KD and not a high light level, but I do what I can. That's it.
Yeah, and that's similar to, what Tinks was saying last week about how helping other people was one of the things that she loves so much about Destiny, and really where she found her place was taking people through the raids. And for you, it's helping people find those things that they haven't accomplished and helping them through it. And so that's really cool. And just first of all, just to throw it out there, I know you kind of sell yourself a little short there just now, but I really enjoy sitting in your streams with, you got a baby on your chest and you're and you're just chilling out, hanging out with the stream, having a good time. And I just think it's awesome whenever you're streaming for Resolute.
I appreciate it.
So don't sell yourself short, man. I really enjoy it, and I know the rest of us do too.
I appreciate it.
But to take it back even further, I want to go back to the beginning of Resolute, how you ended up here, how did everything begin for you here with Resolute and even Destiny for that matter?
So Resolute was, I was fortunate, which is as actually every single person prior to me being on this podcast has said.
Yeah.
I picked up the game because I needed something new. A friend of mine had decided to pick it up, said, "You should really play this with me." And I'm like, okay. It turns out my brother was going to get it too, and a couple other friends from high school. So we're like, okay, cool, let's do this. They all dropped off the map after the first time they ran Atheon. And they were all gone. I had started my own clan with my brother to try and get the Flawless Raider trophy
Yeah.
because I was and still am a very huge trophy whore. So we ended up forming this clan called Super Team Death Strike,
Nice.
which you know the acronym for REZO, like REZO, our acronym.
Yeah.
Take the first letter of Super Team Death Strike. We were the STDs.
Nice.
So it was awesome. So there were only 6 of us. We never managed to flawlessly raid, and they all dropped off the map. And at this point, I was playing with a gentleman named Evan Flo, who I know in real life, and Evan had met a guy named Blessed Doom.
Nice.
So and just kind of randomly in the tower, because that's when Doom was just randomly trying to find people in the tower. So I started gaming with Doom, and we started talking about music because we're both musicians. And then it kind of stemmed off there, and we started chatting more. And he said, I really want to try. I know this guy. I've seen this guy on YouTube, Mesa Sean, and I really want to try for this clan, man. I've been talking to this guy Clawman on Twitter, and I'm like, Twitter? I don't even know what the hell that shit is. Okay. Yeah, and so he got in. I started gaming with him. My first experience with anyone REZO was with Pickle Puncher. Running Atheon, where Pickle described going through the gates at the Atheon map as step 1, you open the gate. Step 2, the Pickle will slide through the gate. Step 3, you defend the gate. Step 4, the Pickle slides out of the gate. And he just kept going. I died of laughter. I thought, I got to game with this guy more. And Doom's always awesome. So Doom put in a referral for me, and I didn't even have an interview. I didn't even speak to Claw. It was Doom talked to Claw. Doom was streaming at the time with Rex Max, and he talked to Claw. And the next thing I knew, I had a gamer tag, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then I think months after that, REZO exploded, and people started knowing who they were, and more people started coming in, and it just became a much bigger thing than it ever was when I started being in it. So it's just a neat experience.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's funny, I'm continually reminded all the names that you're spitting out right now, Rex, Max, and Blessed Doom. You've got a tie sitting right behind you, and I've been staring at it this whole time, and that's from seeing all those people recently. And so it's really cool, like seeing all those pictures that y'all posted come back to memory, but for you these are actual memories coming back to you, I'm sure, as I talk about it.
Yeah, it was that was definitely one of the coolest experiences of going to Blessed Doom's wedding. And I mean, for those of you who are listening that don't know me, I'm Canadian. I live probably as far as you could possibly be from where on this continent from Doom lives. So it was a 5.5-6 hour flight for me, no layovers, direct. But it was just epic to get off the airplane, grab my rental, drive down from Seattle Tacoma like airport to a mall, and pull up, and there's Lovable Licorisa just waiting for me. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like we've known each other for years, and we've never physically seen each other. Photos, whatever, on Twitter, but never physically seen each other. P.S. I thought she was much shorter. But I mean, so we met up with her. We went out to Bungie. I met all these guys like it was nothing. We literally walked in late for lunch, and sat down next to Doom, and Lick sat down on the opposite end of the table, and it's like, hey guys, how's it going? Saw you 10 minutes ago, kind of thing.
Right.
It was such a stellar experience. And then all the shit we ended up doing was just, for me, the first day was 24 hours straight. It was direct 24 hours because of the time change and everything that happened there. So, but it was probably one of the best experiences of my life.
Dang,
that's really cool.
Amazing.
And I've had 2 kids.
Well, but let's jump back just a little bit further than Resolute. Even we're just continually reversing in time right now.
Tell us about the day you were born. We're jumping back.
So 9 months prior to my birth, my parents bought a cheap bottle of wine, and bam, math.
Let's not go back that far. Okay. We'll fast forward a little bit. Where did gaming start for you in particular, and tell me about the journey from the beginning of gaming to Destiny a little bit. Just a quick overview.
So gaming started with an NES system on Christmas Day. that my parents had continually unwrapped and rewrapped for 2 weeks prior to giving it to us so that they could play it. My brother and I were avid duck hunters. We were huge on Duck Hunt. We were the guys who stuck the gun right in front of the screen and did that because we could never actually aim because we were too young. Lots of Mega Man, lots of Zelda, lots of Mario. And then I just started buying systems on my own. So I went up from there to SNES, N64, Sega Genesis, GameCube. Like I picked everything up except for an Xbox 360 from that point on.
Nice.
And I've played a wide range of everything from Final Fantasy style RPGs to first person shooters to third person adventures to everything. I as I said, when PS3 came out with trophies, yeah, I had a problem.
Was there a particular game along the way that made you attracted to Destiny in any sort of way, like as far as like maybe it's a loot based game or maybe a first person shooter that really made you feel at home whenever you tried out Destiny?
So the key thing was that I never ever gamed with anyone. I tried doing Killzone 2 and I'm not good at PvP, so for me PvP was just never an option. So when my buddy contacted me and said, Destiny is, you can play missions together online, and I went, oh great, and all these other people that I physically knew were going to be playing this game, I thought, I'll drop to $60, $80, $70, whatever, and give it a shot. I never thought it would be what it is. Like it is,
Right? Yeah.
It is intense now. Like the only game really I play, which is sad.
It's not sad, man. It's exciting to have you on the podcast and talk about this, because a lot of people who are listening to this podcast feel the exact same way that you do, and are just like, they can't put this game down even when they put another game in for a little while, which is great to play other games. They still find themselves sliding back to the feel of Destiny.
Well, I mean, to reiterate how much of a trophy whore I was, my wife threatened to divorce me because I was going to purchase the Hannah Montana game because it was an easy platinum.
That's awesome.
So I mean, I was pretty bad.
That's dedication. She should have been proud of that.
I was pretty bad. I was in a competition with another guy in my town here, and he blew me out of the water. But yeah, I was pretty upset. I was pretty devoted to it.
So I'm curious, with you saying that platinum and those achievements are like such a big thing for you, what in Destiny in particular keeps you coming back that is that achievement? Kind of like, what are your goals in Destiny still to this day after all this time has passed?
You tied that back nicely with what I said at the starting. It's helping people. That's the thing.
Oh, nice.
So I went from like achievements or trophies are much harder to get. Platinums are much harder to get now, and playing through Destiny and being part of this amazing community, and knowing that I can go in and help people, even like sourcing, just going through and looking at people's grimoire in the tower, and being like, oh, you are brand new to this. Let me show you what you need to know. That kind of stuff is more rewarding to me now, as opposed to the typical, yay, I got a bronze. Ooh, I got a gold,
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And is there any particular moment in Destiny that really, like, in your memory, thinking back on the game, are there some moments in Destiny, maybe with Resolute even in particular, that have stuck out to you as like, man, these were some awesome moments in gaming? Well, I don't know, I just imagine it probably, Tinks was it having to do with her helping people through the raid, like their first time getting that achievement is like some of the best memories in Destiny. What are some of those best memories for you?
Oh boy. I honestly can't. I've had funny moments. I can't think of a best moment. I've had funny moments. I've had rewarding moments, like, again, helping people through raids or whatever it may be. I mean, I used to game a lot with Lovable. She's a much busier person now, but the first time we ever ran through Skolas was probably one of the most rewarding moments I've had personally. I've had funny moments where just because I held the REZO tag, some kid jumps in the chat and just started hyperventilating. And I'm like, I don't have content online. I don't like I stream. I may pull 10 max 20 people. Like, and his line was, "You're one of the original 100. Oh my God, this is amazing!" And he's just, and I mean, I'm working this down a lot, but he was just losing his shit over it, and I was like, okay, great. And then the next line came in, can you tell Hovey I said hi? And yeah, I'll tell Hovey you said hi.
Hovey, you hear that? We said
Yes.
hi.
Yes, I heard. But no, there was a point where, speaking of Mav helping people, not just in Destiny, but I don't know if Mav remembers this, but there was a point, I guess just over a year ago, where no hyperventilating and being exciting, but I was the one in somebody's, either Hovey's or Vanguard's chat.
TVs.
Was it TV? Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
And then I was that person going, how do you get in a Resolute? What's the deal? And Mav was the first person that actually answered me and had a legit conversation. So Mav was the first person in Rezo that I ever interacted with.
Dang.
So that takes me back a little bit.
That's awesome.
And then I also it was right before the website launched, so I put in an application, and I still hadn't talked to anybody other than Mav. So I put on there like, do you have any references? And I was like, well, I talked to Maverick once, and we like really talked about stuff, and I can't really put him as a reference, but he's the only person I know, so like this is just what I'm gonna put. And then I messaged Mav like, hey man, I put you as my reference. Sorry. Like, you don't even really know me.
So funny story. So directly after he sends that message, and I'm like, I don't really know this guy because he just talked to me for like 10 minutes on TV stream. I have no idea what's going on right now. So he sends me this message. Yeah, you said references, so I put you down as a reference. And this is, you got to remember, like, we just did like a mass exodus of members of REZO, right? People who were just inactive and not part of the community or had given up on the game or whatever.
Yeah.
And at the time, there were things going on in my life, so I was a little less active than I typically am. So I was paranoid that I was going to get kicked. And then this random guy comes in. He's like, yeah, I put you down as a reference. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I messaged Call. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. But he put me as a reference. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I just don't know who he is. So, like, take that with a grain of salt. I mean, like it's cool. Like, we talked, and he's a cool guy, but I don't know him. And I was like, yeah, no, I thought that was a bit weird because I've never seen him before. And then the next thing you know, you're in, and I'm like, oh, God, awkward.
To be completely fair, though, I did put on the application and in my message to you that, like, hey, I put down that, like, you don't really know me, but since you're the only person I've ever talked to, I just put you on there. So I put it out there that it wasn't like a, hey, Mav will vouch for me.
But you didn't tell me that. You said,
Yes,
I put you down as a reference.
I guarantee I
no,
did.
No. Your writing was, I put you down as a reference, just want to let you know. And I'm like, oh, God, I don't know if that's okay. That's all right, whatever. Like, it worked out, and I'm happy you're here, right? Obviously. But, yeah, I freaked for quite a while over that.
This story took a turn that I wasn't expecting, so let's just move on.
Hey, any chance to rag on Hove, we're going
yeah,
there.
we're definitely going to jump on the chance to to get at Hove. And, Mav, one of the things that I think is really awesome, and I don't think it's a coincidence now that we're on episode 7, is the people that have really jumped on the opportunity to be on this podcast. And we have a lot of people who are on the list as well. So a lot of people have taken advantage of this, and we're very appreciative of that. But it's a lot of the first couple of members. Like, by design, we wanted Claw and we want Tinks, and we also want Monk because of leadership. But, having so many members come in and be like, my first experience was with Mesa Sean or Tinks or Claw, one of those first members, and to see you guys all represented here, as a core member, and all of the core members seem to share that community focus, and that's really what everyone in leadership has communicated to us. Hey, we want you to be a part of the community. Being one of those core members, Mav, what quality did you bring into Resolute the most, and how has that kind of carried through class over class that you've seen? Because Hove, Lego, and I are newer in comparison.
So it's kind of funny you say core, because I don't really think of myself as a core member by any means. I was like second tier coming in, and then there was third tier, which were you guys. That being said, I'm a joker. There's a lot of seriousness in our GroupMe chat. Prior to GroupMe, there was a PSN chat, which was a nightmare, and I'm pretty sure I was
gosh.
one of the very few people that actually had a Bluetooth keyboard, so I could actually type faster than everyone else in the PS4 chat.
And now Deception's got us all beat by a long shot.
Does she have like 15 fingers in each hand? Like, I don't know how she does that.
Yes.
Yes. Easy answer. Yes. Long story short, I mean, I bring some humor. I try and, again, I whenever an opportunity comes up where someone needs aid in something, or streamers down, can't stream tonight, or charity streams coming up, things like that, then I'll try and throw my 2 cents and try and help. I try and stay out of political things or people's opinions as much as possible, because everyone's different, and when I get on a subject, I don't stop. That's a personal flaw of mine. So if I believe in something strong enough, I will fight it to the bitter end, and that normally means someone getting hurt in some way or shape or form. So I don't do it anymore. But yeah, no, I don't feel that I don't feel like I'm a big contributor, to tell you the honest truth. I really don't.
Well, Matt, let me kind of clarify what I mean a little bit by core, because when I think of Resolute and what it's about, and one of the main reasons why I wanted to join is it's not necessarily the people that are the most visible, and I think they do a great job of representing us in probably the most humble way, and we're very fortunate. But when I think about REZO, and when leadership describes what they're looking for, and membership has come up so many times on this podcast, it's someone like you, Mav, who's willing to help anybody, who doesn't stream for 50,000 people or 5,000 or even 50, and he does it because he's making money. He does it to help people because he enjoys it. I think of people like DJ, Kales, a lot of people that we've had on the podcast, and hopefully having more, that they're just really about the community having fun. And so when I think core members and core people, I think those are the people that have established the values, and that's what I see when I jump in chats and everything else. So I think that you guys do a real good job of that, and I do think that trickles to us. And being the joking nature, I think anyone that's on the podcast at least, or listening from our clan, can attest to our chat is almost never serious.
Oh yeah, no, our chat's just a mess. It's awesome. I love it. Especially I have to shout out to Rob, because without Selfie Fridays, I don't know what I would have done with my life. I mean, and to tell you the honest truth, I would have never touched Twitter if it weren't for Rezo.
Yeah.
I had no interest in it. I would have never known what Twitch was. I obviously know what YouTube is. There's a lot of technologies and communication applications I would have never even thought of touching, solely because it's just not my thing. And I've come to grow with it and develop myself better because of it, and that I'm thankful for, just for the group and the community that we're in. But in terms of providing things for or my influences towards the clan, I think it's just more background white noise, and being the guy in the corner that goes, hey, did you guys think about this over here? Because there's that thing over there, and maybe that would be useful. And someone's like, hey, that's a great idea. We should do that. Okay, see you later. It's like,
well, on that note, though, what you said earlier, I think is important, and reminds me of what Tink said the other day, because we were talking about, gosh dang it, what was it? It was about not recruiting versus recruiting, and how not recruiting is just as important for clans as recruiting. Yeah. And I feel like saying stuff and being vocal, like not being vocal, is just as important as being vocal sometimes, like knowing when not to say something. And I feel like, that's something that I respect a lot of Resolute members for, is sometimes they reserve their opinion until they have it formulated and they're like, this is it. Not that everybody always talks that way. Obviously we're jokesters and fooling around all the time, but with some serious topics, like I noticed with a lot of, you didn't call yourself core, but it's hard not to at least think of you as
one of the original 100.
Yeah, the original 100. Oh my god. So yes, in that aspect, a lot of the OG, if you will, like tend to do that, and that's something that I really respect, and I think that shows professionalism, towards a lot of other clans. So I think that's really cool.
I think one of the biggest things that people need to remember and or focus on a little bit is, and you would know this a lot, Lego, because of your background and your work, is everything you do in front of a stage, everything you do in front of an audience is remembered. and you do one bad thing and 10 people will talk about it. You do one good thing and one person will talk about it. So I don't teabag in PvP. As much as people tick me off, I won't teabag because I feel that someone's going to be like, resolute teabag me, not Mav. Resolute teabag me. I don't get mean. I don't fire back nasty messages when I receive them. I'm sometimes I'll just send them poetry. Like I'll do like random things, right? Like I don't let things get to me like that because I'm more concerned about the image of us as a whole as opposed to, me, the guy with the gamer tag that I can easily change at any point in my life. So that's probably the only things that are really important to me right now in regards to my effect on the clan.
Yeah, it's really funny you brought up the PSN messages because that is one of my favorite things about our group me is all of the kind positive PSN messages we send back to trolls who are like, you're the scum of the earth. Oh, I can't believe you scrub, and we're like, and you were sending back poetry and smiley faces and somebody who was it? I think it's Fury sending back like little smiling monkey icons, to people. And,
I love that man, Fury. He's so good.
Gosh, it's so funny.
He was there the one time that someone actually got to me with a PSN message, and I was like, I'm gonna jump through my TV and kill that fucker. Hey Kels, if you're listening, I'm sorry. That's another story. Anyways, I actually got red in the face, ticked off, and started like cursing and swearing and being like, I'm going to find this guy and hunt him down and kill him. And I got really in the game, not in real life. I got really upset, and Fury's like, dude, you're Canadian, you gotta relax. Like you can't be this mad. Like you're supposed to be passive and relax. Like we gotta leave this game. Like, you gotta relax. Oh God, I'm done. So yeah, he's been my rock a couple times. He's a wicked dude.
I love that guy.
You should have him on soon.
Yeah, we really should. You mentioned something that I really wanted to hit on though, and that was our background in our work, and I'm curious about what your background is on the stage with your profile picture, because I don't know the backstory, and maybe some people listening don't. So what's that profile pic with the microphone all about?
So I've been in several bands throughout my life, because in my town you either did one of three things. You were four things, I guess. You were a skater, you were a sports guy, you were in a band, or you smoked weed. That was basically the four things you did, or you did a combination. So I went with the band, and I was asked if I could scream for a metal band, and I was like, sure, I could do that. Why not? And I'm like, yeah, no, blew out my vocal cords, made a mess of things, blood everywhere. It was not fun. I spent years perfecting it and finally was able to scream properly and found a good band with an amazing drummer, a secondary vocalist because I can't sing, I can only scream. And we put out we did some pretty good stuff, but then schedules got mixed up. It was 6 guys in the band and it just stopped, and that was it. And I haven't done it since, but that photo is just one from a show, and it was one of my favorite photos, and I just throw it up there.
That's awesome, dude.
I enjoy it.
I'll send you some other ones of me in the fireman outfit, Hove. Hey, how you doing?
I got those already. You're supposed to send me the sailor ones next.
Next. I heard that.
I know those pictures are some of Hove's favorite moments in Destiny, but let's go back to some of your favorite moments, Mav. I really want to know, because we talked a little bit about like helping people out and stuff, but I want to talk about Destiny as a game and the activities you enjoy, and in particular, like, where do you feel like you have the most fun? Like, what are some of the things you enjoy most? Is it patrol or raids, or is it the story missions, or even, you talked about Archon's Forge. What is that for you?
I'm a fan of the grind. I'm a huge fan of the grind. I just ran around the Dreadnought for like an hour and a half yesterday just to pick up Wormspore because whatever. I like trying to find things. I like, when Cade Stash was a new thing and everyone was trying to find out more about Cade Stash, I was scoping every square inch of that entire level. I really love the grind. I was a huge Assassin's Creed fan, and that was the thing. Every small mission I had to do, every friggin' viewpoint I had to do. Platinum. So it is the grind for me. I enjoy it. Raids,
That's awesome.
Everything.
So does the new Rise of Iron book like really appeal to you? You think as like something to check off? You know?
Yeah, you can't see my This is a podcast. No one can see my face moving. Yes, it does. Yes, when SRL came out, first thing I did was buy the book. First thing I did.
Nice.
Right? And I made sure I knocked off everything on it. And it's same thing with this. I'm trying to push through it as much as I can.
That's awesome. Well, if you need help with those supremacy games, you know, I'm always free to help with that.
Fusion rifles for life, man.
Yeah, Voop them.
So Matt, we were talking a little bit about your Twitter, and you kind of said to us, I didn't even know what that was, but before Resolute and kind of this game, and I think a lot of us have broken through in different ways in the community with Destiny, where a lot of us come from being single players, or even if you're doing multi, you're not nearly as connected to a community as this one, and this has been. So when you talk about Resolute and you're saying, this is why I don't do this because I'm representing Resolute, as someone who engages with the community often, what do you think Resolute does the best within the community, and how do you think that we're best positioned to do more going forward?
Why are your questions always so damn good?
They're so
Right?
good.
I mean,
Right?
it just
Slow clap.
screw you, Triton. Screw you. Well, I can just be like, hey, man, what's your favorite color?
Well, honestly, I don't get to talk to you guys all the time, and every time we have a member on, I just want to take advantage of. We have so many people that have been here for a lot longer than I have, and I think that everybody kind of says something similar, and I think that's fantastic when you talk about however many people we have in the group across as many countries as we do, and different ages and different life experiences. So I always have to pick everyone's brain. I think.
Hey, no, I appreciate that.
I just think as someone who's community focused and protecting the brand that is Resolute, because I think we all recognize that it is a brand to some degree, but someone who kind of thinks of it more as a family. I'm protecting, almost like you're protecting your last name, like your namesake. What do you think Resolute does the best in the community, and what do you think that we're best suited to do in the community going forward?
We're leaders, I think is the best way to put it. We are an example to the community of how you should respect each other. Despite your skill grade, despite what you do, despite how you act, how you respect each other is key in this game. And as much as people get salty and they get frustrated or they have completely blissful moments in the game, I feel that it is absolutely important that you respect each person you game with, whether they be 8 years old or 86. So, and I feel that's a huge thing that REZO does. For the most part, is we're fairly conscious of that, and again conscious of our own brand, and we have that respect for everyone. And I mean, even like, how many clans did something similar as the REZO for Triumphs?
Yeah.
I mean, I believe it was Tinks that organized that. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I think so.
And I hope someone doesn't correct me, or I hope someone corrects me if I am. But REZO for Triumphs Year 1 was a huge hit, and the community came back and was just ecstatic about it. And every time someone got through one, it got retweeted a crap ton of times, and more people came in. And we were doing it right up to the last hour of it, trying to get people those, damn achievements.
Speaking of REZO for Triumphs, that makes me think of something. So does that mean during year 1 REZO of Triumphs that I was also the creepy non-REZO kid participating and helping, even though no one knew who I was, since everyone was saying I don't know this kid? Was that me?
What are you talking about?
REZO for Triumphs. I was like, oh yeah, they were like, everyone could get in on it. So I was like helping people with it and play with people, and I was like,
you weren't creepy.
Apparently I was the
you
creepy
weren't creepy.
kid. I was the creepy
You
kid.
weren't creepy. Well, you are creepy, but I mean that's not the point.
I am creepy.
I mean,
right. Well,
I recognize the backdrop because it's fake, and I can tell you right now that you're in my bushes outside my house. You weirdo.
This is true. I crossed international lines to peep in the Maverick's living room.
Those are gnomes behind you, aren't they?
Yes.
They look like hair dolls, Hove. I'm just saying. It's kind of creepy.
They're not mine. It's a long
I'm
story.
just kidding. I'm kidding. So, no.
It comes up all the time.
You were amongst a crap ton of people that actually came out and aided with it. So it was never creepy.
Oh, well, I mean, since we're having a good time here, do y'all want to jump into some Twitter questions? How do y'all feel about that?
I like Twitter questions.
Let's do it.
First and most important one. It's from Tech Doc. He wants to know how long you've been a voice coach for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I have been a voice coach for Arnold since the days where Arnold was just a puny little boy.
Ever.
Good answer. And in the second part, which is a serious one, do you find it hard to balance streaming, gaming, and fatherhood? And do you have any advice for other gaming dads?
No, I think life is difficult, and you have to find the sunshine in every point of life and focus on it and move forward. So advice for other dads would be your family is first. Everything else comes second. Your job, everything else. You don't have time to game, or you want to be a streamer, but you're neglecting your family to become a streamer, don't be a streamer. Focus on your family first. Your family is the most important thing. After that, do whatever you want.
Yeah, this is a positive podcast. I love this.
I like it.
I wish y'all listening could see the faces that Mav is making right now because it's amazing.
We should screenshot some of this crap and just throw it up on Twitter.
Okay, so the next one from Levels Music. Do you listen to any Spotify playlists while you game? If so, which? And I will clarify that you then discussed that you didn't have Spotify, so we'll just go with any musical playlists while you game.
It depends on the game. When I played Manhunt, and this you're all going to think I'm horrible for this, but when I played Manhunt, I listened to classical and Beethoven while I bludgeoned people to death with a brick. Destiny would be more like if I was doing PvE, I'd be more like, are you laughing, Lego?
I am, because I'm realizing you're secretly a serial killer or a psychopath or something.
What do you mean secretly?
Ironically, and Aaron might laugh at this, but I am a massive Miles Davis fan, and I actually did listen to some of that when I started some of his older work when I started doing vanilla Destiny, but that was literally like earbuds in my ears playing up on. So I like jazz. That's
amazing.
That kind of stuff, and I can go straight to metal or whatever, Christian rock, anything.
So a little bit of whatever you're feeling at the moment.
It's how do I put it? It's not more about it's not about feeling the music.
It's about
murdering someone and feeling really creepy while doing it. I feel like.
Just kidding. Mav's not a serial killer.
I will find you.
Are we gonna get banned from iTunes and Google Play now?
No. Oh my god!
There are much worse things said on podcasts.
I listen to horror podcasts all the time. I'm pretty sure we can get away with it.
It is the ambience of the background of the video game that drives me to figure out what type of music I want, not the physical content of the game. So Destiny, believe it or not, is actually a very brightly colored game, and therefore I would have more brightly colored music. Manhunt, on the other hand, needed something that was a little more calming because it was a very intense game. Despite the fact that it was wrong in so many ways, it needed calming. So that's why I played classical.
Man, that's really cool. I want to jump on this too because it's a really interesting question, and I'm gonna jump on it in the opposite way because I just recently, a little while ago, turned my soundtrack off for Destiny and just played it with just the sound effects, and it's amazing how different of an experience it is to do that, like without the soundtrack, without anything else except all the sound effects that the team put in there. To make the game so immersive, and playing PvP that way is insane. Actually, I went through the raid the first time, the new raid, Wrath of the Machine, without the soundtrack on the first time, and it was still an incredibly intense experience. I didn't realize it till I was running hard mode. Oh crap, my sound is off. All I have are all the in-game effects, and so I turned it back on, and that was a new great experience. So you can experience this game in multiple ways, and I like the way you described it as colorful because I don't know, it's just so unique, and I really appreciate that comment.
Thumbs up. I approve this message.
Eat Mode from REZO House asks, if you were to handpick a metal supergroup, who would you pick and why, alive or dead?
Yeah, and then he elaborated, which was the one that made it even worse. But we're gonna go off the original question,
All right.
because the elaboration actually made my brain start to hurt. Um, I would have to say metal band, In Flames would be my favorite because that's who I based my scream off of was Anders Frieden from In
I'm
Flames.
gonna have to check it out because I want to know what Mav sounds like with his screamo voice. So.
Okay, first of all, it's not screamo, and if you ever say that again, I'll find you.
Oh crap! What's the proper terminology?
Screamo is technically emotional screaming or whiny bitches, is how I like to call it.
Okay, I understand the anger now.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of emo music, and metalheads and emos don't really see eye to eye because metalheads don't whine and complain about life, where emos do. So yeah.
Geo Zany, what is your favorite weapon of all time? Which I'm assuming we're going with Destiny, as he then says that his is No Land Beyond.
Currently, right now, I'm playing with the Branded Lord fusion rifle, which is my favorite. But if I were to say all time, the most versatile and most fun I've had with the weapon was the Icebreaker.
Nice.
Out of all the years.
Good choice.
Eat it, Geo. Eat it.
All right, couple more short ones. DJ Quinn asks, did sexiness come natural for you, or do you work hard at it?
Thousands of dollars in surgery. That would... and genetics.
You hear that, folks? Beauty's on the inside. Abysswalker 460. Do you beatbox? If so, let's battle sometime.
I do not, and no.
No 1v1 me, bros. Sorry.
No. I only beatbox to a 7-month-old girl because she doesn't know what good beatboxing sounds like.
Last question I have here from HTX, aka Gabe. What's your favorite character impression to do? And I'm adding, if it's Arnold, you can't say Arnold.
So I have like 5 or 6. My favorite one is to creep out my admins with, because I have admins from my work that are 6-hour drive away from me. So I'll call up the office and I'll be like, see if I can do this. I've been sick. Hang on. Hey there, sexy pants. How you doing today? This is so amazing. What are you wearing? Are you looking stunning for me? I bet you got some shiny quarters in your pocket. You can come in the fetch it for me if you like. Yeah, it's...
I'm going to have to excuse myself for a minute.
Oh, the whistle. The whistle's what gets me. I don't know how you do it.
You just gotta take your tongue around the top of your mouth there and right behind your teeth there. You just sit it right there. And you just gotta whistle through real loudly like. Just like you would if you were caressing my face with your soft, manly hands. Yeah, that's...
Just so the listeners know, Mav was slowly moving closer to the camera that entire time.
This is all true.
Just look inside my mouth hole. It's so good. Yeah, that's probably my favorite just for the creep factor. Arnold's just an everyday thing.
That wasn't creepy at all.
Oh no. Yeah. I do an Indian and a Scottish. I've been saying to I've messaged MTash a couple times in GroupMe, but I messaged him saying I want to have a Scottish war against him because I'm sure I'd win.
Do you wanna do your a Goonie impression real quick for us?
A Goonie? Goonie's such a fake accent. He's so fake, that man. Don't pay attention to him, people. He's fake. I'm kidding. Love him. Love him.
Let's hear the real accent then.
Well, you see, a real Scottish accent has to have a deep, low voice. You have to be like nice and low. You have to make sure when you're talking, you keep your tongue nice and wide open. If you keep your tongue nice and flat and wide, you can say any word you want to, and it won't matter because you'll still sound like a Scotsman. Riding a guinea. See, it's totally different, but I love him anyways. He's still funny as shit.
Oh, I love it. That was so good. This is one of my favorite podcasts ever right now. I love this so much.
I'm happy. Thank you. To the bow, roses, flower.
Oh, Okay, well, before we get to any more accents, talk about some trials and some more Destiny related stuff, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back with you. Stay tuned.
We interrupt your normal broadcast of REZOcast to bring you a special update from the tower. A guardian spotted the missing broom in the Plaguelands. What can you tell us, Guardian?
I don't know what's going on. There's so much noise and there's bullets and there's a robot over there telling me to have off, and I don't know what's happening on this side, but there's someone doing some... I saw a broom and it flew by me, and there may have been a Cryptarch on it or could have been Atheon, I'm not sure, but someone was on it and it flew.
Well then, that was enlightening. So apparently we have someone riding a broomstick. Well, tune in next time for the mystery of who stepped in my raisins. Are they really ascending?
Okay, guys, welcome back. Man, I just can't get over all of Mav's impersonations. They're so good.
They all live within me.
But anyway, we've got a few things that happened this week that were a little different, like trials for one. A few new things. How do y'all feel about the no radar, no revives?
I liked it. Triton and I played a card together. Who was our third?
A-Dub.
A-Dub, friend of mine. And I've played with A-Dub before, but Triton and I don't play trials very often. Apparently we got wrecked, though, like 6 months ago. Lego found a video today. And he'd never played with A-Dub, but the call-outs were very good, and it was a lot of fun. I found myself... I only went flawless once this week, but for whatever reason, it didn't dawn on me until the end because I didn't care. It was a lot of fun if you were willing to not take it real seriously. I mean, some of the funniest and most fun moments happened this week. Random things like, you go around a corner and all of a sudden someone's sitting there shotgunning you in the face and you can't find them and you're jumping around because nobody has radar. I mean, it was a lot of fun, I thought.
Yeah, I'll back that up. I definitely had a lot of fun in trials with the no radar and no revives. I mean, it's just different. And I haven't really played a lot of trials probably since the middle of this year. So to kind of get back in and it be basically, Inferno to a degree, I think it was pretty fun. We had a lot of fun, Hove. We had something to talk about a little bit more when we got together. So I think it definitely put more stress on call-outs for sure, being very precise and accurate and having to stay engaged. You couldn't just kind of die and go hang out or do something else. You really needed to kind of move the joysticks around to see if you can get any perspective on where anybody was, which I thought was really interesting for sure. And then, yeah, I mean, I didn't go into it taking it too seriously. I didn't end up going flawless in the 3 games we played Lego. I think I played with you just real quickly. Maybe it wasn't this weekend, but I only played 2 or 3 cards. I think both times we went 8-0 and then ended up losing until the card was over, but I still had a lot of fun. And while I don't think it's something I'd want every weekend, I think having every now and then or having one variant a month, maybe not that all the time, I think that would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, Mav, you were saying you enjoyed it quite a bit. Let me know your thoughts on going and getting that emblem in there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as I said before, I'm not a huge PvPer. I'm actually starting to get into a bit more after some serious advice from Claw about getting a little salty with shotgunners specifically. But to me, what the greatest part was that because there was no radar and because there was no revives, I could be a little more strategic where I couldn't be before. Typically, you see someone on radar, especially on Cauldron, you have an idea where that guy is because it's a vantage point where he can get you down a shot lane or whatever. But when there's no radar, man, I was climbing up stuff. I was in corners. I was in areas where people, when they go to see that sight line and stick their head out, they have no idea they're there. The amount of times that I've jumped onto a ledge and there was a guy right beside me and he didn't see me and I didn't see him and we're both looking down the same thing and then we both look over and go, oh crap, and start shooting was unbelievable. It must have happened a dozen times. I actually enjoyed it thoroughly. And I don't typically enjoy Trials. I normally enjoy regular heart palpitations when Trials comes up.
Yeah, I guess there's a reason they called it Spooky Trials this weekend, is because people would be looking down the same sidelines and turn and be like, oh, he's right next to me. What the heck?
The best was just getting into punching fights with people doing that.
For me, I really enjoyed it as well. I feel like, there's some critiques on the game type, like a lot of people didn't enjoy that there was no radar. For me personally, it was just fun to, first of all, have a heart-pounding experience that, like, I never knew who was around what corner, Sure, there was some people complained about the style that you were playing, Mav, where you're like, possibly hiding behind a corner where people are going to peek out. But honestly, I feel like that's the way this, like, you needed to play smart and strategically, whatever that meant for you, to win the game. And I know a lot of people who are really good at PvP were upset with that, but you can see the other side and how it would be fun for someone, who isn't as good at PvP. Like, I'm sure I played teams this weekend that should have beat me, but like we just outsmarted them somehow, and for me as a Titan, like, I would just skate around the map to completely the other side before they knew what was coming, and hit them from the complete opposite side. And like I said at the beginning of the podcast, we took a guy who was only 325 light, I think, when we took him into Trials, and it was insane. Like, he had to shotgun someone twice and melee them, and they still weren't dead. And it was like, what is going on? Like it was so hard for him to kill somebody, but he still got kills just because there was no radar and he could sneak up on people. And we got to 8-1, and that, like, and even the last game was down to the 4-4 round. And it was just really exhilarating, heart pounding, went flawless with, I think it was Lightbreaker and Fatebringer. And that was really fun too. And just, like, even that, I have the clip saved of us going flawless. The flawless game was 4-on-4, like 4 rounds for them, 4 rounds for us, win, and came down to just me and one other guy, and fusion rifling him, and then switching to my primary and finishing him off. Like, I yelled. I was like, yes, we did it, like, and I haven't had that feeling since year one, like since the very first Trials, and that was awesome to have something different that rejuvenated the game type to me, even if it had its flaws. Like, it promoted certain game styles that some people didn't prefer. Like, it was just fun to switch it up for me for a weekend. And I feel like I can hear that from you guys, and I just wanted to bring to attention the poll that we put out. That was kind of that question, not so much the game type, whether you enjoyed this specifically, but what about switching up Trials and doing modifiers? And, like, overwhelmingly, like, let's see, 46% said it was great, so much fun. 31% said it was okay, but it's okay to do modifiers like that, but very seldom. And that's an overwhelming, like, 77% of positive feedback towards switching it up, with only 23% saying please leave it alone, like Trials, which I understand that too, wanting to leave a game type that people have perfected their way of playing alone, but I just thought it was awesome to switch it up like that.
Yeah, I agree. I said, you talked about the heart pounding situations that you hadn't had since, year one early Trials. I had said the same thing in talking to people, in between Trials and right now, that it felt like the first weekend of Trials again. Like, it felt like something completely new, which we haven't had in Trials. The biggest change we had was rotating maps a few times, right? Nothing else has ever really been any different. And it just felt like something completely new. So I could see, if you're someone who streams and your streams on the weekends revolve a lot around helping people to the lighthouse, I could definitely see how you wouldn't like it. It makes that much more difficult for many, many reasons that have been discussed, ad nauseum by other people that I don't need to touch on. But if you were able to just go in and just have fun and not take it so seriously, like I said before, I think it was great. There were points, kind of like Maverick said. I'm sure someone did it to me too, but there was a point where I followed a guy in an entire loop around the map, like right behind him. I was like, well, I'm not going to shoot him. Like, no one else is there. I just walked behind him. He had no idea I was there. And then, finally I shotgunned him in the back. But, it was a laugh. Like, it was a lot of fun.
You coward.
I'm the worst. I'm a dirty
you coward.
person.
No, I mean, I mean, my favorite move in the entire time of doing this was right when you spawn in. Didn't matter what side you were on. You ran for the bridge, but you hid behind that little tiny wall.
Uh-huh.
Right? Right beside it. And you waited for that team to either blink up, because you're going to hear someone jump, or fire a shot through. And the second they fire a shot through, you know they're right in front of that, like right underneath that opening of the bridge. And you pop out with a sidearm or a fusion at that point, and they're like, "Oh shit, I had no idea that guy was there." And you've got him. You've got him, right? And I got more kills doing that. But the funny part was I got more repeated kills in the same game with the same people doing that, because people are so used to the tactics that they use in regular trials. They don't open up their mind to, how can I play this because I know people are going to be doing the same thing every single time. That's the part I love the most.
Yeah, I would like to touch on a few critiques of the game type, because I feel like I really hope that they do something like this again, but not the exact same thing. Like maybe next Festival of the Lost they do it again, but I really hope that they do one with, you know, maybe no revives, but you do have your radar, or you know, just something to switch it up. Because that's one comment that Apex Chris made. He was like, no revives, hell yeah, loved it. No radar, not so much. And I definitely understand that, especially when you're kind of penalized for killing somebody, because then that person can call out exactly where you are, and that ruins the no radar concept, you know? And so as long as that mechanic's in the game, it's like dying is almost a benefit if one of you is dead and can call out the positions of the other team. But overall, I'm just excited that they switched it up, and to see what they'll do in the future, whether it's no radar or whether it's no revives, you know, just switching it up to make that experience fresh and new again.
Well, I think we've had people on the podcast that have not been, you know, necessarily the biggest PvPers. You know, Mav has admitted, you know, he prefers PvE, just not something he just jumps in a lot when it comes to PvP. And, you know, Destiny still has to appeal to all people. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, when we talk about the people who had maybe the most vocal critiques per se, I mean, that's probably, in all honesty, represents a very small portion of the people actually playing the game. And if those are the people mostly experiencing trials, I don't think from a business standpoint, you know, Bungie could sit and say, like, you know, let's only cater to these people. And that's not what they do normally. You know, that's probably a little bit extreme, but having it change appeals to more people. I mean, you know, no radars, no revive brings in the people that, like, well, I don't just want to get hard scoped to death, and the people that, you know, play private matches and elimination 24 hours, and now I can't even play this mode. I mean, when you think about it long term, if we don't think we're going to get another big update till maybe Destiny 2 or maybe the spring or into the summer, you know, these are the kind of small things that will keep either people going or bring people back in. And I think in the grand scheme of things, that's better for the game than, unfortunately, maybe not having a streamer be able to take as many people to the lighthouse, just because that's like their livelihood, let's say. And I can feel for that. I mean, I personally obviously don't do that. I'm not skilled enough to ever take anybody to the lighthouse. But, you know, at the same time,
never say never.
At the same time, I think those things are important to do, and important in that it just kind of shows us, you know, they are going to do some things. And, you know, it is only one weekend. It's not going to happen next weekend. My only critique was the spider, because that freaked me out the first time. And if they don't do that again, that would be great.
Wild Thing said the same thing. And it's interesting you bring up the streamers and, like, you know, it being difficult for them, but in a way, like with the spiders, for instance, like it brought in a new way for them to get some attention out there to their stream. Like, I know, I'm trying to think who all it was. I know Wild Thing for sure had a tweet out that was like a spider coming down her screen, and she started like shooting at it, like, oh my gosh, oh dang it, it's just in the game, you know. And it just created for some really funny, spontaneous moments. And I'm trying to remember, there was another, I think it was Lumi who it happened to.
Lumi had one, yeah.
Yeah, it came down in front of him and he shade stepped backwards, and he was like, oh my gosh, oh dang it, it's just in the game. Like, and it affected people's movements and made for really funny moments on stream. And not only that, but like people wanted to watch it because they were curious about it. How are these streamers going against these odds versus how I'm going against them? It made me curious, you know, as someone who doesn't spend a whole lot of time on Twitch. I was like, well, how are these people responding to the changes? And if we have another change in the future, maybe it'll like you said, Triton, keep rejuvenating Destiny, not only making it interesting for people who are just the Joe Smo average Guardian, but also the streamers who are, bringing people in and making their streams just a little bit different, even though it may be more difficult to carry at the same time.
I mean, may I contest a point?
Absolutely.
With you guys first, if you don't mind. I mean, you made a point there, Triton, of stating that Bungie has to really cater the game to all players, and I'm assuming that you also meant in all modes, right? So at some point you have to let the PvE guy be able to get into trials, and the PvP guy get into the PvE raids, things like that. Am I correct in thinking that, first of all?
Not necessarily the switch so much as they have to have, anytime they introduce anything, whether that be PvP or PvE, even if it slants one way or the other, that they have to think about the whole community in mind. I don't think they can set out and say, let's make a new PvP mode and let's make it only accessible to the top people that consistently bring in 100 streamers. I don't think that makes any sense. So this is mostly an idea when you think about the changes you're going to introduce in the game, you have to have everybody in mind, even if it's going to, slant one way or another.
Yeah, okay. I took it more as thinking of the way of, they have to make trials. How do I put it? They have to make it more of a game style for all people to play, or not just accessible in the fact of, yes, I can go play trials and I know I'm going to get smacked down by everyone with shotguns and snipers, but I strongly believe that where Bungie sits right now, and everyone has their complaints about, microtransactions and nerfs and buffs, and you know what? The game is purposefully set up in a specific way so that things are tested in specific manners. So I don't believe that people who are good at PvE personally should be running into trials and their goal is to get flawless. I believe people who are solely play PvE should be trying Crucible and getting a bit better, which is what I've been doing. Trying to get a bit better. Pushing trials a bit. Do your bounties in trials. But don't make your end game, to make your end game as being, I got to go flawless and get that one frigging gun that everyone has because I got to be amazing and I got to shotgun everyone and that's what I get. People's end goals, I think, are skewed, and that's the part that bothers me when people typically come up with the, well, it needs to be this way because this is how I play and this is how everyone I know plays, and that's how it needs to be. I get my back up against the wall about that stuff, and I don't typically say things because, REZO.
No, I'm with you, Mav, and I wanted to throw out too, I feel like there's things in PvE that are difficult for me to do, and there's things in PvP that are difficult for other people to do, and I like it that way. I like having that challenge, and I think that's what you're getting at, is there's it's okay to have things that are so difficult that only those people are going to get that emblem, and that in this case it's the new Scarab Kitty emblem. It's really difficult to get for those people who play a perfect card and then keep going, and that's okay. That is something you earn, and not everyone's going to have that. And I'm all for that mindset. Sure, practice in the Crucible and get better, or if you're not good at the raid, practice at the raid to get that platinum, flawless raider. Whatever it is,
Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing is, I got dragged. Last time I got flawless was with Guillermo. Yeah, you heard it right, things. Guillermo. And I faints.
Kill her,
I did a 24-hour, or attempted to do a 24-hour stream for a charity. But Guillermo and I faints took me through trials and blasted the opponents. At most points I didn't even see targets. There was there was nothing I could do. And as thankful, and believe me, I was extremely thankful because I got some awesome gear out of that. I feel that my goal to get myself to the lighthouse, with the team of people that are my skill level, that have slowly gained up to be good enough to get there, I feel that that would be a greater achievement than getting carried, and that's how I am. And that's how this game is perceived by me. It's just it's not the end game, it's the journey.
Yeah.
It's not the destination. It's the journey that gets you there.
Absolutely.
And that's what's more important to me, and that's how I feel more people should be thinking about it.
Oh, no, I think, Matt, that's a great thought. I think people should enjoy the journey. I think a lot of the times we ask people their favorite moment in REZO or Destiny, it's mostly the journey. It's not really the end result. Everyone talks about, oh, it was just a great time. We laughed, we joked, and oh, yeah, and we got it done. I think that's kind of like just like the cherry on top. And, for clarification purpose, I do think Trials was designed to be for the most in-game competitive PvPers we have, and having a set level of expectations that you go in and week out, granted, different map, probably is better in the long run. I absolutely agree. I think just my main point is when they set out to think about things they want to do in a game, I think that, Bungie has to be holistic. But one of the good things about this, too, that they always come back with, even with the negative feedback, is we know that they listen. And we know that they see these things on Twitter, they read the forums on Reddit. So they're going to take in all of these critiques. And the next time they do it, I'm sure they will do it better, or they will do it to kind of cater maybe a little bit more in the middle. So even the people that didn't like this Trials in its full iteration, I would venture to think that the next time they do something similar, it'll be more to their liking without sacrificing the people who chose to go in there because it was different.
Right. And I think, people were divided on, like you said, this specific iteration, but it seemed to be pretty overwhelming that people liked the change in general as a change. And I think that I just wanted to point out on Twitter in response to our poll, a guy named Nate, that's actually his name, not just some guy named Nate, said, I think he summed it up really, really well. He said, I loved it. I think it's fair to say that when players can carry 2 people routinely, it's an opportunity to shake it up. I think that, that's kind of what we've been saying. It's been the same for how long. People have gotten used to it. It was a great time to just say, oh, hey, we changed something, and just throw something new out there.
Or even again. To go one step further, not even for the streamers, but for me personally, like for someone who goes flawless every weekend, like, and for it to be like just casual, like I'm just talking the whole time while we're doing it, for it to be like very intense, my heart pounding and me making call outs every single second, like that, like a whole entirely new experience, like that change is worth it, like to me, just to change it up,
Right.
Well, we talked a lot about in-game Trials being, one of the in-game activities. We've got another in-game activity coming up. In the This Week at Bungie, they announced that Iron Banner is coming back this Tuesday, and I am so stoked about it for one singular reason. The pulse rifle, two. The pulse rifle and the machine gun are both coming as available options, and we can get tons of different roles on it if we just grind for it. What do y'all think about Iron Banner coming up and the gear and the weapons?
I'm looking forward to it. I like you said, the pulse rifle's great. I assume is the machine gun supposed to be good? I don't think
Oh my gosh, dude. It looks so good. I was playing with somebody, who I think it was, it's on the tip of my tongue and I can't. It was Geo. He jumped in. Me and HTX were doing some threes, some skirmish, and he popped heavy and pulled out that machine gun. And just the way it sounds, and then he's doing like I think it was like 50 damage like per bullet, and it shoots decently fast too. And so it was just like melted, and it sounds like you're using a heavy machine gun from Battlefield, that you're playing support class or something, and it just sounded so cool, and I want it so bad, man. And I can attest to the pulse rifle being awesome. Like,
yeah, the pulse rifle,
and I only have one roll on it. Like, I can't wait to just get tons of different rolls and see which one I like the best. Like, I just have one role and I like it more than my Grasp of Malik. I think Rally, when he was on, kind of said the same thing about it. Iron Banner was going on back then as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for Iron Banner. I think, we're getting Control this time around, which seems to be everyone's, consensus favorite. I'm sure if we did a poll, that would probably be in the lead, I think, for what people want the most, or at least expect the most. But yeah, the pulse rifle is really good. Right. I haven't really gotten to experience the machine gun. I don't have it, and I haven't seen it, third hand either, so I haven't seen anyone else use it. But, definitely, I think everyone's going to be gunning for that pulse rifle. Just kind of hope it's not one of those situations where, like, that week after, that's, like, the only thing we're going to see in the Crucible. I know some bigger people have kind of tweeted that out, that, prepare to see that everywhere. But, I like Iron Banner in general. I think it brings, it's another event, kind of coming off our talk with Trials. It tends to bring people in that don't play PvP all that much, like, regularly or want to. And Mav's waving. So I think it's a great event in general. And the armor looks pretty cool. I think I'm definitely going to be gunning for some of that armor. And secretly, I'm hoping that maybe Aphrodite will have some other things to say to us, because I know a lot of people were hoping that she'd have kind of a little bit maybe more story or something like that. I don't think that would happen, but, I am a little hopeful that maybe we'll get a couple more lines of dialogue or something like that.
My biggest thing with Iron Banner is, as you said, it pulls in people that are typically PvE to give their hand at PvP, and I'm one of those, and I love it. I am absolutely obsessed with Iron Banner. Unfortunately, the last Iron Banner, I didn't even rank up as much as I wanted to. So I got left behind, and I still have the quests from it to take care of. But that being said, the only things I'm looking forward to picking up are the same things I've been looking forward to pick up since Iron Banner first debuted, a year, 2 years ago? The damn ship, and now the damn sparrow. Those are the only two things I want, and that's all I care about right now. So
what about that new shader? Have you seen that, Mav?
Yeah, you had to rub that in my face, didn't you?
Well, I don't have it yet either. There's a new shader that's dropping, and it looks incredible, and I can't wait to get my hands on it.
So when everyone burnt out on Destiny, I started buying like all the ships from Amanda Holiday because I had so much money and just didn't know what to do with it. And like buying all the emblems from Eva Levante and doing all that. So now all I need is that damn ship. I just need that damn and easy mode Atheon, the ship from that. Which I could probably do that tomorrow.
I still need Chatter White, so.
Oh my gosh!
Hope we got a date. We'll take care of this. We got to get Spongy. We got to get Spongebrick in because he still needs a Fatebringer.
Nice.
The poor guy watched 2 drop for me at the same time.
Oh, rip the dream.
And he got nothing.
I was curious, Mav, about how you felt about Iron Banner, and it's really exciting to see that, while Trials isn't a huge thing for you, Iron Banner is, and it's considered an in-game activity too. And there's just so much loot that you can get with that, and so much excitement over the drops. So I'm really pumped that I feel like that's the way it is. Triton, you nailed it. I think a lot of people who aren't huge PvP players still look forward to the Iron Banner grind, and I think that's really cool.
I think the greatest thing about the Iron Banner coming in, especially for clanmates and communities, is the fact that I typically don't get, and I keep speaking about myself, I don't know about everyone else, but I typically don't get an opportunity to game with my fellow REZO members very often. It's very clicky because of time zones and how everything happens. So, but for some reason, when Iron Banner comes out, REZO Game Night picks up, people start coming out, everyone's there for the grind, and it's like, what? How's Buddha doing today? I haven't seen Buddha in I don't know how long. How's this guy doing? How's Apex doing? We start having those conversations and reconnecting, and that's really important to me personally. So that's why I kick into it as much as I can.
100% agree, man. Like that's how, especially when I first joined Resolute, it was kind of like, everybody doing their own thing, and then as soon as Iron Banner hits, it's like everybody is unified doing the same thing. There's a few of us who like to stick to threes and will sit out, but for the most part, even those people will come out just to get the loot, and play it for a little bit. And it's like our clan roster is just on fire in Destiny, and we're all in there and we're all playing together. It's some of my favorite moments, just playing with the Rezo community, and like you said, game night. It's just so much fun.
Hashtag Rezo Game Night.
Rezo Game Night. Check it out Thursday nights before we record this podcast. 10 Eastern Standard
10
Time.
Eastern, yeah, with Rex.
7 Pacific.
Yeah. Check it out, guys. Resolute Gaming 7.
So something that we probably should have mentioned before, but I just wanted to quickly at least touch on the fact, and Iron Banner coming back and being another activity made me think of it, that Bungie snuck in challenge mode on us the other day.
Yeah, we should mention that.
Yeah,
you're right.
I mean, at least touch on it, mention it.
Did any of y'all get a chance to try that out?
No.
Yes.
Mav's our MVP tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Hell no.
What did you think?
We failed miserably.
Really?
No, we actually. So the first time we did it, I have a raid team of not Rezos now. I consider them my raid team. I hope they consider it the same. Bunch of guys that I stick together with, including the Eggplant King, Aubergine King.
Yeah.
Love him.
Ian Com, Lalo, Fishbones. There's a good bunch of us. We just always congregate together. But I didn't even know challenge mode hit until we ran into the raid, and they're like, "Oh yeah, so we're gonna do this," and I'm like, "Well, what's this?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. It's just challenge mode." And I'm like, "Oh, it's just. By the way, this is the first time I've run hard mode because I've been so busy in real life that I haven't had a chance to run hard mode yet." So I'm like, so not only are we doing hard mode, but now we got to do challenge mode, and I'm already like 383, so I'm weak light level as it is to do hard mode. Cool guys, let's do this. Why not? But they got, we were kind of misinformed, and we got the order of the rooms wrong. Like you had to do 2 rooms by 2 rooms, right? And then basically 3 stage with DPS to kill them. We weren't doing that. We were doing 2 at the starting, and then 1 room, and then 1 room, and then so we were doing 4 stages. So we had a horrible time. We were trying to do this, and when we finally killed them, nothing happened, and we were all discouraged. And then we all went online, and as of yesterday, we went back and actually did it. Tell you the truth, not that difficult to do. It is honestly not that difficult to do.
Nice.
It is 100% key on communication. If you cannot communicate with your team, it's going to be very difficult for people running through our LFG to do. You have to be really good on communication and call-outs and everything for this, or it's just not going to happen properly.
Which is cool, because I feel like the one thing I keep hearing about this raid is that it's still really fun. It's not so hard that it's not fun to run through it, and it's not decently quick. Like, it's not going to take your entire night, to do
Or
this.
expulsion. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I think that's been... was a big complaint about that. One person died, they ran into a spaceship that came in and hit their head, and they died, and that was it.
Oh my god!
You know what I mean? And then you had to wipe.
Oh,
and that got old.
I'm pretty sure I did that the first time I ran Oryx with Claw, like very first run through. And he's like, "Okay, everybody, do your thing. You know what to do." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm runner. I got this. Like no worries." And then I run through, and the ship comes in and knocks me like immediately out. And then he's like, "What happened?" Like, the ship came and I'm dead. I don't know. Well, did you all have any more thoughts on Iron Banner? Y'all want to close this out?
Cricket.
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 That's about all I got.
Let's do it. Okay, well, thank you guys for coming out tonight and hanging out with us, listening to the podcast. We really appreciate you listening to another episode, sharing it with your friends, leaving reviews on iTunes and on YouTube. We really, really greatly appreciate you hanging out with us. I don't know why you still are, but we love you for it.
They're here for Triton.
And,
Hardly.
Yeah, they're here for Triton. And this has been Lego Le Flash. You can find me at Lego LE Flash on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, everywhere. Hove, where can they find you?
You can find me all those same places: Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Hove76, that's HOV76, and Triton.
Yep, I am also in those same places, all under Triton Please. The please at the end is PLZ. And how about you, Mav?
You can get me at Twitter at REZO Maverick045, Twitch at Maverick045, and YouTube at Maverick045, although I don't have much stuff there. So. Oh, sorry.
It's okay, neither does Hovey, and we had him on.
No kidding. Sorry, on the Resolute channel, Resolute Gaming 7, Thursday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern.
You heard it, Resolute Gaming 7. And also, you can find RezoCast on Twitter at RezoCast. And I hope you'll come by, check us out. We are doing polls every Wednesday and other fun stuff during the week. We're putting out our guests every Tuesday of every week, so you know who's going to be on, what questions to ask them, and all that. So please come hang out. And Mav, thank you so much for being on this episode, man. We really appreciate you coming out. And he's making another amazing face. I wish y'all could see it. But thank you for all your impressions and all your thoughts on Destiny, and for just being an awesome member of Resolute. And we'll see you guys next week. So until then, GG's, guys.
GG's.
Hey, no, I appreciate that. Now that you've said that, I totally forgot what you asked.
Yes, and I.
I totally.
He said
can
like
you
another
repeat it?
really
Did you
well.
write that down, Triton, or?
An eggplant king. I remember.
Why do I feel like you
And
should
I
be
didn't know
huddled in
anybody,
a
so I
corner
just
right
sat there
now and
quietly.
like be shaking back and forth, like twiddling your fingers when you say that?
And like sucking
and
my
Nick was
thumb.
there?
Yeah.
And so
All right,
many
moving on.
bullets, so many bullets. Yeah.
He sounded so much like the broom, the robot missing the broom right now in the tower.
I don't even know the lines are. Can't find my broom. Can't find my broom. Nowhere to sweep. Something like that. Yeah. Your family is the most important thing. After that, do whatever you want. Smoke crack. Okay, don't smoke
This
crack.
is a positive podcast. I love this.
Shit. Lego's dying right now. I'm just watching. I think he muted his mic.
He's just secretly recording you to keep for his own files, and he thinks you're a serial killer.
Just in case I need like FBI evidence later, you know?
Oh yeah, and Triton just walked in.
It's funny because I barely can't see it.
Yeah.
It's like barely blocked, which it looks like your nipple's censored right now.
Hey Triton, how's it going? We were just talking about nipples.
Yeah, I started walking back to the computer. I just see Matt like lifting up his shirt, like rubbing in that area. I'm like, well, maybe I need 2 drinks.
Or maybe you've already had 2 drinks.
That's weird. Nobody's ever talked about nipples in REZO. As he then says that his is No Land Beyond. Because nothing beats good hard wood. I figured I'd add that in. His words, not mine.
Sure they were,
Same
Hope.
thing.
I didn't read that on Twitter.
How are you from a different generation?
I'm pretty sure we're all pretty close to the same age.
I feel like I'm the only one who watched cartoons, you know? Like
I still watch
Dude, I
cartoons.
was like
one Saturday
Transformers,
morning.
G.I.
Like, where are you
Joe,
guys at?
Wait, I went off on like a huge Power Rangers tangent like 2 episodes ago.
okay.
That's like directly mid-90s. So,
You're right.
I mean,
Grow some testicles, for God's sakes, Lego. Just grow some testicles. You are so scared about the other people. Grow some testicles. What's wrong with you? Now let Lego talk. I want to go back to his sexy face. So there he is. Oh, now it's Triton. How you doing? Why you putting your hand in your... Hi there, Hovey. Oh, look, it's Triton again. You're so sexy. There's so many good-looking men here. Do with your sexy fine. What are those trophies for on the back wall there, Triton? Just being a manly stud.
I think Triton's blushing.
We interrupted your normal broadcast. A broadcast. That's a thing.